few weeks ago, I made a video about a kingpin, and I said that I don't do fatties. Well, clearly I was wrong now that I have this giant X-Men statue on my table. Well, there's just a few other things I have to say when I look at this huge behemoth.
That's a huge bitch!
Disgusting blob.
Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Welcome to the Extreme Channel, where we are looking at a custom Blob statue. So custom means it's a private unlicensed commission. They only made 60 of these. Blob is a character from the X-Men Marvel franchise. He is a villain. So he was actually portrayed in one of the X-Men movies, although it wasn't the true Blob in my opinion. It was the Wolverine movie right here. I did quite enjoy that movie, but honestly, it wasn't the true representation of Blob that we've come to know and love in the comics and even in the 90s cartoon series. I believe he appeared in a few of those episodes. Actually had him on order for I think less than a year. Came out pretty quickly, and I got to tell you guys, this not only did not disappoint, it way exceeded my expectations, which I think I have a video coming out later this month, or I did earlier this month, about statues that exceeded my expectations. This might be number one. It's not, because I already filmed the video. But really impressed with this statue on so many different levels. So excited to get him in the X-Men collection behind me. Gonna put him with the villains. I'm gonna put him with Mystique. I'm gonna put him with this custom pyro that Mrs. X is actually painting right now. And that's from the same maker of this, and then also a Toad companion piece that is coming out later this year. Now, because it's a private unlicensed commission, I can't give you any information about it. These are all long sold out. If you want to buy one, your best chance is to look at a statue buy sell trade group on Facebook. Enough of that. Let's do the review on this guy. Oh, where to start? I don't know which fat fold to talk about first. But let's talk about the entire thing, looking at the concept. Now, this seems very simple, but I think that's all you need for such a fat bastard. So first of all, bottom base here, which we're going to talk about a little bit, is removable. It's just a basic base. I know that sounds weird because a base should be basic, but it's just some cracked cement or street or dirt that he's standing on. The weight he has is making all these additional cracks. And I like this because it not only saves space, but it doesn't take anything away from the star of the show, the Blob. He's in his traditional comic outfit, which is just boots and a onesie. Maybe that outfit is from the brief time he was in wrestling or he was a carnival performer, but it's what he uses, and his fat folds are just coming out everywhere, and he's a little bit of aggressive. So I would say this is still a museum-style statue, but he has some movement, some flow to him. He's lunging forward to attack. Not only are his arms indicative of that, but the face, the portrait, there's only one portrait on this, but I think it's perfect for him. His fat neck is flowing out of his uniform, and this is just absolutely fantastic. You know, there's not much to the Blob because really his superpowers are being a blob, which means he's almost impenetrable because he has so much fat. He has superhuman strength. If he wants to, he can be immovable. So I think they nailed it. While the concept isn't entirely creative, it's neat. It fits the character well, so I think it's still a 4 out of 5 on the extreme scale. Now for design, I typically show you guys the unboxing and assembly first. I'm going to show you the unboxing, but I'm not going to show you the assembly. It was only 3 parts. It's the base, Fred Dukes' body, and then his portrait. And it was just a big bitch getting on to the base. So here is the original boxing. You can check it out right here. Huge box, weighed 75 pounds. And the awesome lazy-ass FedEx guy left it in my driveway. Little bit of an art box and a COA right there. And then 1 layer. Only 3 parts, you only needed 1 layer. Now what's really interesting about this, we're going to measure him. So the widest point is about 24 inches. This is a 1/4 scale character. So huge 1/4 scale, about 14 inches deep. And then tall, he's right at 24 inches. So I plan to put him in a Maja case. You can actually see where Mystique is down there. The lights aren't on. They are about 23.5 inches tall. The great thing about this is it was designed with or without the base. So removing the base saves you about 2 inches. So he will fit easily with that. So here are some pictures I haven't seen yet. One is him on the base. And then here he is not on the base. So I'm going to put the base back in the box and take it up to the storage unit and like 10 minutes, which if I'm rushing through this review, that's why. No switch outs, anything else you need on him. Very solid. I really like the portrait because his neck fat overflows onto the costume. You don't see any seam lines. So I have to give the design 4 out of 5 as well. If it was more complex, I would give it 5 out of 5 because I hesitate using the words perfect, but I think the design is perfect for this statue. Maybe if they had additional hand switch outs or additional portraits, could have put it over the edge. Paint and Sculpt is one of the best paint and sculpts I've ever seen, in my opinion, and maybe it's just this character that did it for me. But one really cool thing before we look at it, take a look at this photo right here. The artist, a well-known artist here, actually sculpted his name into the base. And it's at the back, so you don't see it. But I love that, and I think he's done that with some of his other pieces. I own quite a few of his. I think that's cool when artists do that, especially if it's not apparent. But here's some close-up video of the paint and sculpt. All right, let's take a look at this pretty boy, starting with the base. Now, what's really interesting about the base is how they've mixed in his skin tone colors, almost like it's a reflection from him. And I really like it. I wouldn't think that I would have if you described the concept to me, but I think it's pretty cool. So as we talked about, conceptually very plain. It's cracking up due to his weight, which is cool, but it's sculpted really well. Like this looks like it could be a actual street or pavement. Obviously not a finished street, but something that's being destroyed. Fantastic job with the sculpture of the base. And this is when you really want the character to speak for itself. There's, again, the artist's signature. And we'll just start at the back here. But they did an amazing job with his flesh tone. I like how pink it is. It almost gives you that jelly-like thought when you think of Blob. And then you still see the veins painted in there. This is fabulous paint on top of the anatomy that they sculpted. You see the folds in the boots and the uniform. I can't imagine why he'd want to wear that. But how the fat just folds over, it looks amazing. Then there's this really pinkish area on top of the flesh tones. Where the folds are hitting each other. If you've ever watched that show, 600 Pound Life, that's the areas they can't clean very well. Look at the veins bulging out. And with the way that his body transforms all the time, that makes sense. I like the leather-like texture on the boots. The blue matching color is a little bit different than the uniform, but enough. It's actually probably the same. It's probably the texture they added that changes it. Incredibly clean paint with the gold bands as well. You don't see any bleed over, so really impressive how they did that. Look at his enamel-like fingernails. Yeah, his skin is almost like this extremely overweight / decrepit guy. Disgusting. He's like a disgusting blob. So amazing job with the sculpt and paint. It's absolutely spot on. And we haven't even got to the portrait, which in my opinion is one of the best parts. So he has more chins than Chinatown, obviously, but fantastic portrait. His neck, his turkey neck is I don't even have words for this. You don't really have a statue that's this overweight, so it's hard to describe. But his folds are coming over his shirt, his costume. See the back, hunchback-like fat because it's built up so good, or so big. The hair, I like the streaks in the hair. They added some different browns and blacks, and then it gives it that flow that work really well, like he's moving. So I think that's fantastic. Great job on his teeth and eyes. Really impressive. As Mrs. X will tell you, those are the hardest to paint. I'm pretty sure those are decals on the eyes, but they're fantastic looking decals. They might even be actual like small glass eyes. I'm trying to figure that out, but really impressive. The paint and sculpt on this is wow. I am super impressed. I don't think there's any debate for me. Both paint and sculpt are 5 out of 5. Really well done, really impressive. I'm so happy to have this in my collection. Maybe I do like fatties. Now, this came at a great cost, so he was not cheap. Now, most quarter scale statues range anywhere from $750 all the way up to $1,500 in 2024 when I'm filming this. He was at the top end of that. He was at $1,450 plus quite a few hundred in shipping. So if I wanted to get my money back, I'd probably have to charge $2,000. I don't think that's going to be a problem, honestly. It's not going to happen because I'm not selling him, but I think the value, this is going to be really highly sought after. Not only is he a quintessential X-Men villain, he's not done in statue form too often, and he's done really well. Now, as a disclaimer, I did own a previous Blob statue. This was by Iron Studios. It was 1/10 scale, and it was part of their huge X-Men Sentinel diorama, and I thought it was very good as well. Not as good as this. So I'm going to give the value a 4 out of 5. I definitely think this is going to be a sought-after piece. X-Men is such a big franchise. It's such a big niche in the statue collecting community, and people love Magneto statues. They love Apocalypse statues. Why not some other quintessential X-Men villains? Does he have the X factor? Is he a 5 out of 5? That's just my overall score. It's not cumulative based on the other scores. Of course he is. This is 5 out of 5. It's a lot bigger than I thought, but I love this size.
That's what she said.
I am such a huge fan of this statue. What do you guys think? Did they knock it out of the park? Are my ratings right? Throw that down in the comments below because that comment could win you a statue, and I love to hear your guys' thoughts.
As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Mr. X again. This is the Extreme Channel. Hit the subscribe button if you like stuff like this. If not, then just go away. For those of you that come back, though, I'll talk to you soon. Take care.